Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Hot Takes Goodman and Haertl. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, Eric. And you, I trust, okay on this Thursday morning?
Your trust is well-founded.
Good.
How is my trust in you on how you're doing?
Good. I am starting to get back into the rhythm. It's a pivot point because you've kind of gone a few months without the normal rhythm of your life. So you kind of get back into it and felt pretty good. Felt pretty good yesterday. Good to be back at things.
I want to tell you about Roller Auction, the leader in Colorado auctions in over 45 years, I should say. On Wednesday, August 6th, there's a government fleet vehicles auction for SUVs, sedans, pickups, dump trucks, vans, trailers, and more. Online bidding has started at rollerauction.com. You can learn about upcoming auctions at rollerauction.com as well. Get what you want at the price you want today at Roller Auction. Time now for the lead.
The lead is presented by Smokin' Dave's Barbecue. It is not just the best barbecue in town, it is one of the best restaurants in town. You can find Smokin' Dave's Barbecue off 36th and Pecos.
Okay, my friend, the Broncos, maintenance day yesterday, maintenance day today. Tomorrow's the official start of training camp as the fans will show up. And when I say first official day of training camp, I mean the first day they're on the field for the start of training camp. Is that fair to say?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Yeah. 2 ramp-up days, call it whatever you want, acclimation, whatever term you need, but 2 days to ramp up. Friday it begins in earnest, and probably by early next week we'll be cooking with oil, and we'll be starting to look at pads coming on, and a lot of things will be happening pretty quickly, I think.
So here is something that we have not seen in a long time or at all. Dre Greenlaw, J.K. Dobbins. Let's see who else. Alex Singleton, Devon Vele, P.J. Locke, all on the field yesterday. The Broncos, you can make the case, are pretty much 100% healthy going into training camp, except for one guy on the PUP list who is pretty far down the depth chart. And it's not to say that he doesn't matter, but all the key guys were out there yesterday. Of all the guys that you saw out there for the first time, period, or, in a long time, which guy did you look at and go, "Whew, glad he's out here"?
Yeah, I'd add Alex Singleton to the list.
I did. I thought.
Well, what if you did? Great, good. If not, Dre Greenlaw would be my answer to that. Yeah. Dre Greenlaw is the first guy that I looked for. I looked for 57, located him early, got eyes on him, watched how he was moving. He was in the 7-on-7 drills. He was in the team session. So he practiced yesterday with no restrictions. So now Sean talked about it afterwards, about a lot of things, nearly 30 minutes worth. And we'll get into that in a minute. But, and so they will have days built in where they're probably not having to do quite as much, coming off injuries and things of that nature. But it was really good to see both of those guys inside together for the first time on the field. I mean, Dre Greenlaw has been a Denver Bronco for quite some time, but that was the first time that he and Alex Singleton had been on the field together.
Right.
So that's a unit right there, getting their first taste of how you function with one another. And interestingly, they were moving around. They were flipping sides, strong side, weak side, doing things like that. So already working on who's going to be where for certain sets and things like that. That was the most interesting thing in that regard for me yesterday.
Same exact thing for me when I walked in. Number 57 is the first guy I was looking for, and it wasn't too hard to find Singleton because he was stretching right next to right next to Dre Greenlaw. Yeah. Let's get into some of the things that Sean Payton had to say, and he mentioned that Bo Nix had a busier offseason than we had thought. He had hosted talking about Nix, group of receivers and skill position players, for a couple of days to work and spend some time together. That's a typical thing for quarterbacks to do. Now, Payton also revealed that Nix spent about 4 to 5 days with Drew Brees in Southern California. Nix also spent time with Tom House, best known, first of all, he was a baseball player, pretty good baseball player, not great, but he was good enough. Played for your Red Sox, right?
Yeah, he did, amongst others. The Braves played for a lot of teams. is a guy that is really into the physiology of throwing.
Yes.
It's kind of, he's made that his life's work. He's kind of a throwing guru. And so I thought that was the great nugget takeaway. The Drew Brees, Tom House stuff yesterday. Drew Brees will get the headlines, but working in the weeds on the physiology of throwing with a guy as renowned as Tom House, that's pretty next level stuff, I think. And I think it reflects very favorably on Bo Nix and the work that he wants to and is willing to do.
Right.
You get the sense that it was almost a dude, get out of the complex. Go take some time for yourself. That there's a certain amount of that in a joking way from Messrs. Payton and Payton as it relates to Bo Nix. But really, should that surprise us? Isn't Bo Nix one of the biggest gym rats you've ever seen? I think he is. I mean, clearly the dude is most comfortable when he's in the gym or in the complex or in the room, whatever the case may be. And that proved out over the summer, apparently.
There are certain athletes that when they stand in front of the microphone, certain coaches, when they stand in front of the microphone, and no matter what question that they are asked, they want to get something out there. So, what's your favorite color? And the answer ends by saying, my favorite breakfast cereal is Cheerios. I want to get that in there somewhere in the press conference. I'm not going to sit and pat myself on the back for this, but the reason why I remember the answer so well is because it was the question that I asked. But the question was, what makes the marriage so great between you and Bo Nix? How Tom House came into it, I have no idea. How, Drew Brees came into it, I have no idea. But it was still news nonetheless. And when you hear that your quarterback is doing stuff like this, it makes you think, ooh, not only is that my guy, but my guy's putting in extra work that maybe other guys are not putting in.
I think it's right on course for – I don't think it surprised anyone. It was news.
Yeah.
But but you're just filling in the blanks on stuff that he is doing to further associate and understand things that are central in his professional life. I don't think that Bo Nix has much of a problem separating home life, family life, and work, but work is obviously a main tenet of this guy's being. And he's doing everything to his credit to be better at what he does. So while it was really cool to put names to it, and Tom House was very interesting. I mean, you got to know a little bit about who Tom House is and what he does and how he does it. Drew Brees is a no-brainer, but that's cool in and of itself, right? Hey, I'm going to go out to San Diego for 4 or 5 days and hang with Drew Brees and talk ball. I mean, think about the insights to the rhythm of the offense and to the relationship between quarterback and coach that Drew Brees can help Bo Nix with directly. And not to mention that he's got a couple of pretty good guys right here in Denver that he can always tap anytime that he needs them. And I'm sure that he will or has to this point. So it's just another really good reminder of the desire that Bo Nix has unequivocally to move forward with his skill set and with his mental set of preparation to become a better quarterback. It's good stuff.
Here's something else to think about. When you look at the two starting quarterbacks for Sean Payton in Denver, when he talked about Russell Wilson and Drew Brees, it was positioned this way. Russ really needs to stop bothering Drew Brees. Remember that?
Yes.
I do. Now that it's Bo Nix and Drew Brees, you can't bother Drew Brees enough. Go stay at the guy's house for the rest of your life, and I am fine with it. But you brought up a really good point, and I'm going to use an old school term, and that's the word speed dial. He has, talking about Nix, he has Drew Brees on speed dial. He has Peyton Manning on speed dial. He can have John Elway on speed dial. Give me a team. I'm going to take Drew Brees out of it. I'm going to take Drew Brees out of it because he's never played for the Broncos. Give me a team that you'd rather learn from those former starting quarterbacks.
I don't think there's anything that even comes close.
Well, there is
rivaling. Well, I mean,
there is. There's two sets of quarterbacks.
Tom Brady in Vegas now, obviously, there's a wealth of experience, information, all of the things that go with it now that any quarterback in Vegas as a minority owner in the team now.
I mean, two quarterbacks, and this is what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
Manning and Elway both played for the Broncos. Would you rather sit down with Manning and Elway, or Montana and Steve Young, or Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre? Johnny Unitas isn't alive anymore, so we can't say Johnny Unitas and Peyton Manning. But I would still put Manning and Elway at the top of the list, even over Montana and Young.
I would put them on the top of the list because Favre and I just don't see Favre and Rodgers being available. I mean, you've got Elway and Manning available right where you live, and now you're boys with Drew Brees, so the speed dial will always come in. I mean, I hope that they have forged the type of relationship where he can call up and say, Hey, Drew, on a first name basis and go from there. It's quite an asset to have. It's even more impressive to use the asset and use it the right way in an effort to humble yourself to these guys, understanding that they have accomplished what you are trying to do, but then also to, in the moment, in the present, to just make you a better football player through simply understanding. And who knows what little tricks of the trade in training, footwork, vision, all of the things that go into being a great quarterback that guys like Elway and Manning and Brees have all mastered, that can't help out a second-year quarterback, even one that is still ascending. I think it's a wise move. I think it's a humbling move to seek guys like this out. But on top of everything, it's a smart move.
Yeah. Well, for Caleb Williams in Chicago, because Sid Luckman is no longer alive,
no longer with us, right?
He can put Jim McMahon and Jay Cutler on speed dial. That's how far down it goes when you look at the top of the mountain, which is Manning and Elway. With that, Peyton was asked at practice if his approach has changed with higher expectations nationally this year compared to last year. I like his answer. It was interesting, but I'm curious to know what you think he meant by it. He said, has his approach changed this year to last year because of national expectations? And he said, it does a little, but in a good way. It's what you want as a player when you're playing on a national stage, and the travel can be a little bit different, but that's what you want. The standards can't be just high for coaches. The entire group needs to see the opportunity. When this started 2 years ago, this is where we hope to be heading into year 3. What do you think he meant by it does change a little bit?
Well, expectations have weight, and there are certainly expectations. So with it comes the accountability and the responsibility to try to live up to those expectations. I think it when you start to arrive at a different level of appreciation and anticipation nationally, it means that you are now a team that is being looked upon differently than you would have been a year ago. The Broncos, we've talked about it, and it's verbiage. They may not be a Super Bowl contender yet in the classic sense of a Buffalo, Baltimore, Kansas City, Philadelphia. There's those handful of teams that we know about every year. But they hope to be knocking at that door. They hope to be a team that can get a decoder ring to be a part of that club. They're not there yet, but the opportunity is there. And I think that to a large degree, that's what Sean is saying. You want the opportunity. You have to be good enough and you have to deserve it to be talked about in that light. But he also said all of those things are important, but the most important thing is realizing the work that needs to be done to deserve it.
Right.
So that's kind of where he is right now.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that he's really changing his coaching style on the field.
Right.
So when he said it changed a little bit, and that's why I said to you.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Well, what do you think he meant by changes a little bit? Yeah, you might remind the guys a little bit more. Now, listen, when you know your team isn't very good, don't throw out the word playoff or Super Bowl. When you hear a team that isn't when you know a team is not going to be very good this season, and in training camp, they're talking about the playoffs, you kind of laugh, don't you? It's kind of like the Rockies in spring training talking about competing for a World Series, isn't it? The players can kind of sniff through that I know you're trying to say the right things, but let's look around the locker room here.
I don't think that you can fool players.
No.
Younger players, maybe, that don't have the experience of knowing what you have, but veterans, they have a pretty good idea of what you're loading both barrels with. I don't question it. I thought his remarks yesterday that internally they had a feeling a year ago that they could do something in that regard, and talking about getting to a playoff or being that kind of team that had the potential for surprise. They were the type of team that had a potential for surprise, and they realized it. Good on them. But when you get to this level of expectation, I like using the golf analogy. And our friend Roy Williams told me this a long time ago. I can get you to a 10, but getting you to a 4 or getting you to a 3, that's a totally different kind of leap than getting you to a 10. I'm talking about a handicap here.
Yeah. Right.
It's the jump to 10 from 20 or from 25. You can do that. You can. It takes some work. It takes some time. It takes some effort.
Yeah.
But it's a much bigger jump getting from 10 to a 4. Well, I think it's a much bigger jump getting from a fringe playoff team into a team that is a reasonable challenger for a division and thus for a Super Bowl.
Right. I think when you say our team has high expectations, our team, we believe, can compete for a championship, you can only say that if you have the quarterback.
Right.
Because let's look at after Peyton Manning left. Yeah, Trevor Siemian was the quarterback and they had the majority of their defense back. I get that. But after that, with Flacco and Keenum and, everybody else that followed, nobody really talked a lot about the playoffs in training camp. The first time I heard the word playoffs said with a straight face was when Russell Wilson got here.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. And that's what a quarterback can do. Now, it didn't work out, right? But they were certainly a better team, even with Russ, than most of the teams that had preceded it, dating back to 2016, right? So, but you're absolutely right. Once you have the stability at quarterback and a guy that everyone can believe in, not just the offense, not just the coaching staff, the entire roster, the entire franchise, it's a franchise-wide feeling of confidence. And it reverberates through every bit of the organization. It just does.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to take two quarterbacks and I'm going to put them side by side.
Sure.
When the Broncos drafted Nix, did you honestly believe we'd be having the conversations that we're having right now about not only making the playoffs, making a dent in the playoffs, and being a dark horse Super Bowl team? Did you really think that'd be possible in year two? On the flip side, the guy standing next to Bo Nix is Trevor Lawrence. The day he was drafted, they were talking playoffs.
Yeah.
They got their quarterback of the future. I can't imagine a lot of, Jaguars fans are thinking, we got some Trevor Lawrence, because how quickly did that die?
I would say that I was extremely bullish on Bo Nix right from jump. However, it would be foolish for me to try to rewrite history and say that I thought, even as a Bo Nix guy from jump,
right,
that you would be in this situation having these conversations in year two. Year three, I think would be a reasonable expectation. If you really feel like you've got your guy, but it's a happy result to be in this position with the guy that even surprised me, excuse me. And I thought he was going to be pretty good, but I don't think that you could have looked at those last 11, 12 games and said with certainty that was going to be the guy that he developed into. That he did is absolutely outstanding, because it's created a foundation for him now on which he can surely build. Trevor Lawrence was a guy that I felt like he's going to be a good pro, but man, it just hasn't happened for him. Where is Trevor Lawrence right? He's not a top 10 guy, is he?
Nope.
He's not is he a top 15 guy?
What would he look like in an organization other than Jacksonville and the Jets and the Browns? Listen, Steve Young was left for dead with Tampa until Bill Walsh wanted him. So I think where you go makes a huge difference.
Yes.
And how would Bo Nix, honestly, be playing for the Browns right now? He looked probably – it's not that he would look like a different guy. It's not that he wouldn't work hard. Instead of, calling Drew Brees, maybe, I don't know, call Bernie Kosar. I have no idea.
Sipe? I don't know.
Brian Sipe, well done.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well done.
I went back a minute. You're right. Well, we've talked about this a lot. And I think we've been really good about this right from jump on this. Fit is so important. Yeah. Fit is just absolutely key. And the fit with Payton and Nix has been, to this point, about as seamless as you could ever hope for. Now, you got to have the ability, but he has checked that box to this point.
Yep.
The fit and the symbiosis between the two of them is, I don't want to go all crazy. I'm not saying it's approaching Mahomes and Reed but at least you can talk about the way that those two function together at least compare it in a similar light, right? In a similar light. Now, they've got many miles to go before you sleep on Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying that. I'm not even making a comparison. I'm just saying the fit for Reid and Mahomes was absolutely great, really from year two, not necessarily year one. Payton and Nix have that kind of dynamic right now.
And putting a bow on this segment.
Putting a bow on Bo.
Putting a bow on Bo.
Nice.
The way we started the segment was, in so many words, that's the question that I asked Sean Payton.
Yeah.
What makes this such a great marriage? And he talked about it. And then out of nowhere, oh, by the way, Bo hung out with Drew Brees.
Yeah. It was good stuff.
It was outstanding stuff.
In fact, I will say this. Sean was as good yesterday as I've ever seen him from a standpoint. And look, there's not going to be a lot of X's and O's stuff that you're going to talk about on day one. I mean, that's just, it's kind of silly to go there. So you're going to get more philosophical feelers. You're going to get a little bit more what makes you tick, how does it work kind of feelers. And I thought the media did a really good job with that yesterday. But you've got to have a subject that's willing to kind of pull back the curtain a little bit. And I thought Sean really did a good job on that yesterday. He was almost 30 minutes free form. He talked about an incredible range of things that are all very valuable in us getting to continue to know the mind that he thinks with.
Yeah. He was 99% perfect until he went down the road that Tom House caught Hank Aaron's home run ball in the dugout.
Yeah, the dugout.
That's where he lost me.
That one. I said it as I was taking notes. I said bullpen, but but that's okay.
Right?
That's okay. We give him that one. But and this was a theme for us on radio last year. How much more comfortable was he getting in year 2 with everything, with media, which he was contentious to some degree with in year 1.
Very.
But he started to move as the season went on. He started to move away from that. Last year, the relationship certainly warmed. It changed. It's not going to be all fuzzy, and I don't think any of us need it to be that way. Yeah. But I thought yesterday he was pretty damn good yesterday. Yeah. I commend him.
Coming up after the break, NFL.com had an interesting article titled NFL Top Breakout Team, 22 Players Who Demand Your Attention. No Broncos were on the list, but that's okay. We're going to come up with our own. A player on each side of the ball that we believe are going to break out this year. That's next. Everyone has their favorite barbecue spot. Mine, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. My favorites, slowly smoked ribs, smoked corned beef Reuben, smoked meatloaf with a portobello balsamic cream sauce. And don't forget about Smokin' Dave's 16-hour smoked brisket and pork with one of their 4 homemade barbecue sauces. Great sides, you bet. Barbecue beans made with pork and brisket and their southern corned bake. Man, you got to try it. Plus, they have amazing non-barbecue entrees on the menu. Go where I go, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew in North Denver.
Ever wondered where city and county fleet vehicles go when they retire? Now's your chance to find out and score big. Imagine driving away with a great deal on a reliable vehicle. For over 45 years, Roller Auction has been the trusted source for government fleet vehicles and equipment. Trucks, SUVs, sedans, and more, all selling to the highest bidder. Don't miss out. Visit roller.bid/hot takes to get auction updates today. Your next vehicle could be just a click away.
Spice up your next night out at Nola Jane and Lodo. Authentic Cajun cuisine like andouille sausage gumbo with dirty rice, crawfish etouffee, as well as 6 different po' boys like soft-shell crab and shrimp. Come in before or after a game at Ball Arena. Host a party or party on their rooftop deck overlooking Market Street during happy hour from 11 a.m. to 5. Plus, Nola Jane caters, delivers, and the kitchen is open late night. Make Nola Jane your new favorite spot to eat, drink, and party like it's Mardi Gras.
Ferguson's Heating and Cooling is the best in Denver, and their customers agree. Ferguson's has 165 5-star Google reviews, and here's one from Betsy. Highly professional, prompt, and honest. I switched to Ferguson's when I became aware my former company was trying to sell me a whole new system I didn't need. Ferguson's is an honest, working, family-owned business that'll give you a fair price, the highest quality parts and equipment, and they always show up on time. You can trust the Ferguson family like you trust your own family. Go to fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
Everyone has their favorite sports bar. Mine, the Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch in the DTC. Both locations are everything a sports bar should be. An upscale menu with 12 different burgers, outstanding wings, and my favorite, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. They've got every game on the NFL Sunday Ticket, MLB Extra Innings, NHL Center Ice, NBA League Pass, plus soccer, rugby, and UFC. Sportsbook is a hangout bar or great for private parties. The Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, the DTC, and coming soon to Parker. They are the sports bar.
Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos in Blackhawk have another incredible promotion. They'll be giving away a new Sea-Doo, four-wheeler, or the cash award from the Big Wheel Spin, plus $7,500 in cash. The grand prize drawing is the weekend of August 16th, and get finalist entries every 45 minutes from 10 a.m. to midnight during their daily cash drawing, with a locked-up jackpot of $100 or more. Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos. Loose slots, great promotions, great food, and a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
And welcome back. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. If you're looking for a great place to have lunch or dinner tonight, highly recommend Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. To me, it's not only the best barbecue spot in town, honestly, it's one of the best restaurants. Dave, the owner, the founder, he had a lot of different styles of restaurants, and he really combined a lot of those techniques and menu items onto this menu. It's more than just ribs, which are outstanding, brisket, which is outstanding. He has taken his love of culinary arts and put it onto one menu. You know, one thing that, and I talk about this all the time because this is unique. You would never see a smoked meatloaf that is made with chorizo and all different other types of meats and porter beer. And then you have a balsamic cream, mushroom glaze, which is tremendous. The sides are amazing. All the desserts there are homemade. You could just go there for dessert, and it is really that good. The bread pudding is outstanding, as good as any bakery that you would find a bread pudding. Everything there, honestly, is fantastic. Go to Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. You can find them off of 36th and Pecos. And when you're driving up to Estes Park, chances are you're going to drive by another Smokin' Dave's. They're dotted all along driving to Estes Park. Time now for What's Trending.
What's trending on Hot Takes with Goodman and Haertl? Brought to you by Mile High Sports.
NFL.com had an article titled NFL Top Breakout Team 22 Players Who Demand Your Attention. No Broncos on the list. Give me a breakout player on each side of the ball. I'm not going to put a rookie on there. Are you?
No, I don't think
Okay,
so. I think that's a little presumptuous.
Yep.
I'm going to go with Devon Vele, who he makes the most sense to me on the offensive end because I think there's going to be more work for the receiving crew. I can't use Evan Engram as a breakout guy because Evan Engram's been a Pro Bowler, and he's well established in this regard.
Right.
But I think Devon Vele is going to get a fair amount of work, even though he's cut from the same mold in the same position as Cortland Sutton. And he would be my guy. If it's not Devon Vele, it's going to be Troy Franklin.
Well, see, it's interesting you should say that because I think your choices, when you narrow it down, if we're not going to pick a rookie, which we're not, and you're not going to pick a veteran, because for the most part, you already know what the veteran can do, right? Yep. So you got to pick a guy who has potential but hasn't done it yet. In the wide receiver room, you have three choices. You have Vele, you have Mims, and you have Franklin. On the other side of the ball, how many guys would really qualify as breakout guys? There's only one that I can think of truly that I'd make a really strong argument for over anybody else you would throw my way.
Who are you going with?
And that'd be Riley Moss.
Interesting.
He's the only choice I can think of that, for lack of a better phrase, could take it to the next level. Give me a guy in the front seven who we don't pretty much know what they can do.
Yeah.
Unless you're picking Nick Bonito to have 20 sacks, which you're not.
You almost have to go to the next level, the Drew Sanders, that kind of like what does he look like getting lots of reps inside, and healthy again.
But those are based on injuries. A guy like Drew Sanders is only going to truly be able to break out with injuries to starters. Riley Moss is a starter. Devon Vele is a starter.
Yeah.
Let's see. I would think that Mims is number 3 in the wide receiver room. So then you can make a case for Mims or Troy Franklin.
And I don't know if he's going to be a breakout guy, but I like Jonah Ellis.
That's a great
So
call.
try to think in those kinds of terms about maybe not a breakout guy like bursting onto the scene, but a guy that's like the next level of breakout, the next guy that has the capacity to surprise. He's healthy. He's moving well. They like him a ton. There's a reason they do. And they've got depth in that room, Eric. I mean, we see it every day out there. I mean, they've got depth in that room. And I do think that he's going to be in a rotation. So how busy can he be in the opposing team's backfield? I think he's an interesting guy to pay attention to. So
he's a rotational guy, though.
I think so. Right.
He's definitely a rotational guy. But as a rotational guy in his rookie season, to have 5 sacks is still pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Let's use a saying that is said all the time when there is a quarterback competition. When you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none.
Right.
So with that, when you look at position battles, I really don't know if there are really many position battles on this team. I can think of 3 areas where you can make the case there are position battles. You can make the case for 3. I'd only make the case for 1. I don't look at the running back position as a position battle because Sean Payton historically does not have a bell cow back.
Right.
So is it going to be R.J. Harvey? Is it going to be Dobbins? Is it going to be Dobbins? Is it going to be Harvey? Both guys, if healthy, are going to get plenty of playing time.
Right.
So I don't know if it's really a position battle necessarily.
No.
Then you have Jahdae Barron and Jaquan McMillan for the nickel slot. You'd feel more than comfortable with either guy playing nickel. Certainly more comfortable from the Broncos' point of view if it's Jahdae Barron. They drafted him because he was the best player on the board at the time. I'm not going to say they're not crazy about McMillan, but if they were crazy about McMillan, I'm not so sure that Barron definitely would have been the pick.
You know, it was interesting yesterday in the only team period of 11-on-11 that Jahdae Barron opened opposite of Patrick Surtain outside. So he took the opposite corner snaps, the first 2 or 3, and then they switched through. So I think that that's what we're going to see a lot of this year. Just where's Waldo, which is where's Jahdae Barron lining up, where he's playing, what he's going to be doing. They have that kind of depth now in that position.
But are those really I don't know.
No, I don't think that they're position battles.
Right. Technically, technically they are. Who's going to get the most snaps? Now, the position battle to me is Sutton, Vele, and then who's going to be that guy counted on to be the 3rd wide receiver? Is it going to be Bryant? Is it going to be Mims? Is it going to be Franklin? That, to me, is the battle. Who's going to be on the field the most to get the most opportunities? Because I'll take Bryant out of it only because he's a rookie.
Yeah.
So let's look at Mims and Franklin, who do something very similar. Speed. Which speed guy are you going to put on the field? You might put both of them. You might put both of them on the field at the same time, but chances are only one. So the battle is who gets to be on the field more.
Yeah, and it becomes a question of how they continue to evolve to use Marvin Mims. The Marvin Mims and Troy Franklin are very similar in their straight line speed. There's no question. They're the 2 burners. But Mims has been used differently. They line him up in the backfield. They put him in motion. They can run jet sweeps, and they can do it with Franklin too. Don't get me wrong. So I think that they look a little different in how they will be used, which means I think Marvin Mims kind of is, because I think Marvin Mims at the end of last season was a real weapon for this football team.
Yep.
And I think that he will continue to be a real weapon. To your point, if there is a battle, and that might be overstating it, a competition, whatever the case may be, I think that you've put your finger on it. I think it's in the receiving room with Sutton, Vele, Bryant in particular, Troy Franklin as well. That's 4 options that you have right there. And it's going to be interesting to see how that is all parsed out as things go on. That will be the real chart taker in the preseason. Okay. Who's getting thrown to, targets, that type of thing.
He is listed as a tight end, but he's going to be playing most of his time off the line. Who finishes with the second most catches this year? Vele, Ingram, Franklin, or Mims?
I think Ingram is going to be the second leading receiver on this football team. As long as he stays healthy, he is going to get a lot of traffic thrown his way.
Okay, so another maintenance day today. Training camp officially begins with full practice tomorrow. I mean, it's not to say that they're not practicing, but it's install. And install really isn't that interesting unless you are a hardcore football guy. And for all the media out there that are hardcore football guys, we're not allowed to talk about the installs anyway. Because if we do, we're going to wind up losing our credential.
Yeah, it's not worth it. The outcome is not worth it. And we've evolved to the point now, Eric, where we actually have to be accompanied now to go use a John because of all the construction out there. Yeah, you have to ask permission to go to the bathroom now.
Well, that's why I always, just in case, wear my adult diapers to Broncos training camp because I feel so uncomfortable being walked to a porta potty. That's going to do it for us. Hot Takes Goodman and Haertl. Make it the best possible day you can.